The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey guys, welcome to the second PlayBuzz webinar. I'm Jonathan Small, PlayBuzz's senior content editor, and I'm going to share a bit with you my secrets for making your quizzes visually stunning. I want to tell you how to make them pop, how to really grab people's attention. You know, I've seen many great quizzes from Disney to past life quizzes, and I can tell you that one consistent thing throughout all of our mega hits is they're all visually stunning. You know, I can't give you a secret formula that's going to make your quizzes go viral. I can't promise to unlock all the secrets of what makes something go viral, but I can tell you what I think will struggle, what will have a hard time reaching someone's attention, because there is so much content out there. You know, at times it might feel like a massive struggle to reach people, but with a little hard work, we're going to be able to take our content, to another level. I also want to mention that if you're joining this webinar as a publisher, make sure you check out publishers.playbuzz.com. There is a ton of extra resources that I think you'll find invaluable, and a lot of information on, what it means to be a part of the PlayBuzz network. We give you tools and tips to engage new users, as well as retaining the ones you already have. In addition to that great resource, we also have a great blog full of invaluable insights from some of our most senior and accomplished employees. The topics range from, as you can see, optimizing your content marketing strategy to even some talk about the visuals we're going to discuss today. So definitely check it out. It's an awesome resource. And remember, throughout this entire webinar, you can submit any questions on the chat box on your right. And at the end of this 30-minute session, we'll try to get to all your questions. So before we dive right in, I just want to get a little primer on, what exactly is playful content? What are we doing at PlayBuzz? For those of you that have experience with PlayBuzz and all of our various formats, from personality to trivia to our rank list, our standard list, you know what playful content is. Just by using the formats, just by making quizzes or even just taking quizzes, you're experiencing playful content. So for those of you that don't really know what playful content is, maybe you're new to the PlayBuzz game, you're new to our formats, it's all a little foreign to you. Playful content is mobile friendly, it's snackable, interactive, and highly shareable content. The truth is, today's content consumers, they don't want to sit and passively consume content. They want to actively be engaged in their content. They want to interact with their content. They want to unlock different aspects of their content. But most importantly, they want to share it with their friends. We see this across all of our social channels. You open up Facebook, we see people sharing things. At times it feels like people do things just to share. And the truth is that if today's content isn't mobile friendly or optimized for social media, people are going to have a really hard time finding it. Sharing and recommending are the keys to spreading your content organically. You guys know that it's going viral. This is the best way to reach like-minded audiences. So as you all know, you're here, you know what this webinar is about. I want to talk about pictures. I want to talk about images. We need to face the fact that people don't read today. People don't want to read. We need to find other ways to engage them. Traditional forms of entertainment, newspaper, whatever, that stuff it's dying. This is the future of entertainment. This is the future of content. Images give you the perfect channel to express yourself. So along those lines, the first cover we're going to look at is this beautiful cover from the quiz, Which Dr. Seuss Character Are You? Now, I really love this quiz because I'm a big Dr. Seuss fan. I see this cover and I automatically think of my childhood. I think of one of my favorite, most beloved characters from childhood, the cat from The Cat in the Hat. I see the font. I don't even have to read what the font says, but that font is so undeniably recognizable as a Dr. Seuss font. It's as if I'm walking into a bookstore and I see this on a bookstore shelf. I'm intrigued. I want to get into the book. I want to see what's in there. That leads me to click Let's Play. So let's go into the quiz. Once I'm in the quiz, that experience continues. This looks like a real polished Dr. Quiz published book. The author spent a great deal of time making this quiz have the feel of Dr. Seuss. So now I'm not only consuming Dr. Seuss related content, I'm actively choosing where I want that to go. You know, I get to make the book. This is a whole new way of consuming this kind of content. And the more beautiful it is, the more pulled into it I am. You know, I can tell you as an editor, having seen hundreds of pieces of content, I'd say it's even, you know, at this point, thousands of pieces of content, that because this quiz is so visually polished, people are going to be more willing to take this quiz. We see this all the time. Why would we want to spend, you know, 3 minutes of our time engaging in content if we don't feel it was polished? If someone didn't take the time necessary to really finish it, to give it a feel, to actually capture the essence of what the quiz is about. So here in this quiz, you can tell right off the bat, somebody spent a lot of time and put a lot of love and energy into this quiz. It's a beautiful quiz, and it's effective. Here's an example from a publisher. It's along the same lines, but it's a different format. This is a trivia format from MTV. This is a beautiful quiz. You know, it might be a stretch to say that it's a work of art, but it is. You know, you can see this. It evokes feelings of, you know, the early heydays of MTV, the 80s. I see a Dire Straits video. I see Phil Collins. I would even say, like, there's something Warhol-esque about this quiz. You know, that quiz is so beautiful that the questions become irrelevant. I'm not thinking about who wore this dress best. I'm thinking about, wow, that picture's beautiful. You know, maybe I'm not going to see it in a museum, but this is pretty good. On my screen in front of me is pretty good. So as we're talking about beautiful pictures, I want to talk about some not so beautiful pictures. First up is watermarks. As you can see, they exist for a reason. Watermarks are there to ruin photos. They ruin photos to make sure you don't steal photos. So try to avoid using waterstock photos. Another thing to keep in mind when picking our pictures, when trying to match the feel and trying to find the most beautiful pictures, to match our questions, to supplement our questions, our answers, etc., is stock versus very stocky looking photos. Now, all of us are going to have to use stock photos unless we're photographers, but I'm going to assume that the majority of us aren't. We don't have our original intellectual property. So when we go to iStock, when we go to Getty, be mindful that some stock images look more stocky than other stock images. The image on the left here is a very generic stock image, whereas the image on the right is a more creative and playful stock image. As you're picking your photos, as you're populating your quiz with the most beautiful things you can find, the most creative, the most interesting, remember consistency. Try to keep the feel of your quiz consistent. If I'm taking a quiz and suddenly in the middle, the author does a 180 and throws in a picture that doesn't fit with the rest of them, I'm going to feel taken out of the quiz. Users are very perceptive. They feel the same way. Don't let one part stick out like a sore thumb. This doesn't mean you can't be creative, you can't be inventive. Of course you can. Be as creative and as inventive as you want. I encourage creativity. But just be mindful of the feeling you have throughout the quiz. Try to keep it the same. Let's take a look at a few successful covers. As we already covered the Dr. Seuss character quiz, you can see that cover there. But here are a few more. The first cover I want us to take a look at is, can we guess your real age? Right off the bat, I see that there's something lurking under the surface here. I see a beautiful young woman with older eyes overlaid over her face. To me, it says something is existing that's beyond what I can see initially. My curiosity is piqued. I'm intrigued. I want to dig deeper. Is it telling me that we're not really the age we act? What is it telling me? I'm in it. It conveys what the quiz is about. I want to play. I want to dive in. The next example of a very successful quiz cover is the one for what does your birth date say about you? This quiz automatically tells me that there's something soft there. There's a baby there. There's a warmth. The pink matches the font Everything goes together. There's a general inviting feeling that brings me back to infancy. I'm thinking of warmth, being covered in a blanket. Again, like with the quiz previous, with the age quiz, is there something more meaningful about my birthday? I want to know. I want to go back to that day I was born and see what happened. So before I've even clicked, I've started remembering the simpler good times of being a baby. There's an emotional connection established with me before I even click. This is key. This is a really great feature which a lot of people might not be aware of. But if you don't want your social share cover to be the same as your quiz cover, you can change it. Here you can see we've created a cover with a simple Let's Play button. Now this is great because it encourages people to click directly on the cover photo. This is perfectly optimized for social sharing, and it just adds a whole nother layer of social engagement. So I would recommend, play with your covers. You don't necessarily need the same cover to show up on, the regular quiz and then on a social share. Again, you can get very creative with it. There is no limit to, what you're able to do here. So now that I said you can change the cover, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering how we change the covers. Well, it's very, very simple. It's just like adding a cover. All you need to do is, under the Facebook text on the right side, it says edit the image. Again, this is just like adding a cover. Click on edit image. You can resize it. You can crop your image to take out any part here. Here we've used the same picture, but obviously this can be applicable to a different picture. You can upload the new cover from a file on your desktop, or you can take it from a URL. It's very, very, very simple and very, very effective. So as we've talked about before, the story and the relationship between images and quiz topic is immensely important. If I have a quiz that deals with only humans, with real people, and then suddenly in the middle I have a cartoon character, consider, will this take the user out of the experience? And if you think so, maybe reconsider the picture. Go back to that theme that you started off in the beginning. Build the theme. Don't necessarily deviate right in the middle. We need to make sure that everything we do conceptually makes sense. That the story we tell is consistent from the beginning to the end. No matter where we want to take the story, there has to be a logical progression of that story. Are we going to target millennials with a quiz? Okay. So does that mean, we should have as question number 5 a picture of Elvis Presley? Probably not. We need to look hard and think, what is relevant for the audience we're trying to reach? Maybe a picture of Taylor Swift is better. How can they connect? A great example of an author having a consistent feel throughout the quiz is in this which Super Mario character are you? Fairly straightforward. From the cover we can tell that we have an option of being either the princess, we can be Luigi, we can be Mario, we can be Toad. Okay, it's a fairly simple concept. But what the author did to really to take it to that next level, to make it something more engaging and more interesting is, have you ever had a secret crush? The question is not Mario-based, but the picture is from Mario. It's from the world of Mario. This keeps it all together. This tells me that from beginning to end, I'm going to be in the world of Mario. That for however long this quiz takes me, say it, maybe it's 3 minutes, maybe it's 3.5 minutes, I'm going to be in the world of Mario. That's going to build the journey as I take the quiz. It's going to make me more interested in the result I'm going to get. If, for example, with this question, something goes bump in the night, do you? If it was a picture of, a stock picture of someone getting scared, that's going to pull me away from the world of Mario. With every question and every progression, I'm still in the world of Mario. It keeps me interested. It keeps me engaged in this quiz. So this is one of my personal favorite covers. What was your past life according to your memories? We talked a bit about the emotions that you want to convey with the pictures you choose. This cover conveys the exact emotions that are contained in this quiz. It's dark, it's mysterious, there's a silhouetted figure, there's a bridge going into the abyss, the fog. The font for the word memories is breaking up. Let's break it down a second. Our memories are often fragmented. They're not always complete memories. How often do we think we remember something and then it just sort of fades away? That's what the bridge is. That's what the fog is. When we remember situations, do we remember faces? Not usually. The figure in the picture represents that well. So before I've clicked into the quiz, I'm in an emotional state that I'm going to go someplace foggy. I'm going to go to someplace a bit confusing, a bit dark. It's a perfect framing for what I hope will then be an incredible journey down to some nether region of my brain to try to deal with my memories. It's a beautiful cover. So here's an example from another publisher called Which Southern State Should You Actually Live In? In contrast with the previous cover, this one is actually quite simple, but it's, nonetheless just as effective. It's playful, but there's something authoritative about it. That giant pin going into a map tells me that this is going to be a location-based quiz. It's going to tell me where should I go, where should I be, where should I live. If you don't read the text, you already know that it's going to say, it's like a giant GPS. It's going to tell me I should be in Omaha. Maybe I should be in Nebraska. Regardless, it's going to tell me where to go. It's effective, and it's quite simple, but it's beautiful. When we talk about engaging users, we're constantly thinking of ways to pull them into quizzes. We want to get their attention. We talked about the vast sea that is online content. It never ends. People are always fighting for your attention. It's always a struggle. Now, a really neat trick, and this works especially well with trivia, is getting people to play a game before they even know they're playing it. Now, it sounds a bit odd, but you can have somebody actively playing a game before they've even consciously made the decision to start playing that game. An example I want to show you that highlights this is this quiz about Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Can you identify the film from an extreme close-up of Arnold Schwarzenegger? I see this picture, and as an Arnold fan, I know that's Total Recall. I love that movie. Boom, I just started playing the game, and I haven't even hit Let's Play. Kindergarten Cop, Conan, some of my favorite movies. But the key here was, as soon as I saw that picture, I had a mental connection with Total Recall. I was a player before I officially decided to be a player. It's very hard for me not to click on that Let's Play icon once I've already played. It's a great way to get engagement, so try it when we make our trivia. Try it. Use one of the questions as a cover. Pull them in before they've even realized that they're in it. So I want to go back to feelings for a little bit. We've discussed the importance of creating an emotional connection, because how else are we going to draw people in? We have to make them feel somewhat connected to the quiz. But then how do we decide what we want that emotional state to be? If we have a dark topic, we can go back to the memories quiz for a second, if we can remember it, if your memories are up to par. That's a bit of a murkier, darker subject. So we're going to want darker, murkier pictures. We want to fit the feel of the quiz. We're taking them on an emotional journey. We want it to be consistent. We need to make sure that as soon as they click Let's Play and start that quiz, that emotional journey is going to build. It's going to progress. Whether it goes into darker, murkier areas or happier, lighter areas, we got to be consistent. To repeat, we don't want to do a 180 in the middle. We don't want to set users on one journey and then say, wait a minute, make a U-turn and go a different way. That's not going to work. We want to keep them on a straight, beautiful journey. So with this example, we can tell right off the bat that this is going to be a upbeat, happier quiz. The colors are vivid, beautiful. The author clearly spent time making it feel good. This quiz has a personality. What is that personality? I would say that personality there's a funness, there's a loving life. It's beautiful, it pops out, it allows you to express yourself. Even as you take this quiz, you can say, yes, I'm a Blue Jay. That's my personality, that's perfect. I've just expressed myself even though I'm taking a quiz. It's a tremendous emotional connection. So now for the million-dollar question. How do we get people to share our content? Because that's ultimately the goal of trying to create viral content for all of us. We want people to pass it on. We want them to love what we give them, love it so much that they're going to send it to their friends and families. It starts with the result image. Even though they've taken a quiz, most people will decide to share your quiz by the time they get to the result image. And again, like we talked about before, people aren't reading. People don't want to read. Let's take a look at a really successful result from a very successful quiz. What is your old person name? Again, it's pretty straightforward. I think we see the picture, we see the title of the quiz, and a lot of us start to think of generic, stereotypical old people names. Maybe our grandparents or great-grandparents, whoever they may be. And so now we look at this result. Myrtle. Look at that face. The little text. What is it about Myrtle that makes people share? It's simple. It's to the point. There's a lot behind Myrtle's eyes. There's a lightheartedness. There's also a look that, Myrtle's experienced a lot. And I know all these things before I even read the result. I can share this picture even without reading what this picture is about. This picture tells me 1,000 things, supplemented with a nice font, the light blue and the white. It's the complete package. It's efficient. It looks great. I want to pass it on. I want to say, I'm Myrtle. Are you Murray? Maybe you're Marion. I want you to consider for a second, what catches your eyes? When you're driving or you're scrolling social media, what are the pictures or the ads that really pull you in? For most of us, it's eye contact. Eyes draw us in. Eye contact makes us feel something emotionally. Whether it's sadness, anxiety, fear, depression, whatever it is, these are some of the most intense feelings we have just from looking in the eyes. As a creator, keep this in mind. You have an incredibly powerful tool. When selecting photos, try to reach deep into somebody. One of the best ways is through eye contact. So now that I've shared what we see work, I want to show you it in action. I want to take a look at the PlayBuzz Facebook page. I want to scroll. I want to show you, I want to show you this whole process in action. Getting pulled into a quiz. What piques attention? So here's the PlayBuzz Facebook page. And as I see right off the bat, I see Rod Stewart with his children. I'm not particularly connected to that. I don't have children yet. It's a cute photo, but again, I don't have kids. I'm not going to click. Eyes, mine are brown. I don't feel particularly strong to them. Jurassic World, interesting, but I haven't seen the movie. I don't want any spoilers. I'm not going to click. Walking Dead, perfect. I'm a big fan. Emotional connection. I click. I'm in the quiz. It's that simple. It got me. It pulled me in. So one of the biggest and most constant questions we get is, can I use GIFs in my quizzes? The answer, of course you can. Use as many GIFs as you want. However, there are a few caveats. While GIFs are fun and playful and light, they're usually just that. If you have a very serious topic that your quiz is dealing with, maybe a GIF is not the best place to go. Do you want to have a funny dancing person in a quiz that deals with maybe a more serious, darker topic? Probably not. So when you want to use GIFs, just consider, would it feel out of place? Would it work here? Another really important point with GIFs, this is probably the most important point with GIFs, is that While they look great on desktop, for example here, it's fun, it's playful, the puke, the American flag smiley face, the I love Bennett, this is hysterical, it's fun, the little cat stuck in a piece of toast it looks like. GIFs don't work very well on mobile. And considering most people will be taking your quiz on mobile, we got to be really conscious of their user experience. Do we want to give them a product that doesn't really work so well, or do we want to give them a product optimized for how they're viewing the quiz? You need to open your quiz up to as many people as possible. Don't limit exposure. Don't limit its chances to really reach as many people as possible. Here are some additional resources I highly recommend you go visit. Like I said before, I'll be sending you everything we cover here, so you don't need to scramble to write this stuff down. It will be included in all the materials I send out. If for some reason we don't get to all of your questions in the Q&A session, head over to the forum, check it out. It's a great community of creators and quiz takers. There you can submit a question, you can submit a quiz for people to look at. It's a great community. Take a look. Also, at any time, any day, you can email us at publisherscommunity@playbuzz.com. And so I just want to thank you all for joining us in this webinar. We really hope these tips will help you and empower you to create great content.